Hi, this is Dr. LeGros, and we're going into week 3 of Admin and Gov, key leadership positions and performance expectations. So I want you to go ahead and look through the chapter. The organization and the key leadership positions and performance expectations just are going to vary tremendously from one institution to the next, especially within different types of institutions. And we also have seen an incredible, tremendous shift in higher education in my lifetime, where higher education has gone from institutions that are rooted to the ground, that you would say that change at those institutions is like turning a battleship, that they're very traditional in their structure and their organization, and thus in their delivery and in the way that they move and the practices that they adopt. Education has long been a world of academics. It has not long been a world of business. And what you've seen is the advent of business moving in to education as almost a necessary partnership. And in some times and in some ways it works well, and in other ways not so much. I say this as a consultant who works for a company that is a corporation that partners with institutions of higher education to help them move forward and to help them see their own shortcomings and to um, innovate to get past them. Now, in my previous life, when I worked for a for-profit college, it was not a world of academics. I apologize if you hear the noise in the background. There's construction going on in my house. For-profits would not be a world of academics. Our leadership came from companies like Target. Yes, the store, Target, from Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and from other businesses. And we would have campus directors that had a complete business background and no background in education. We had deans that had no background in education, but they did have a background in business because they wanted to adopt better business practices to make the school fiscally competitive and to have a high ROI. I one time actually had a job interview for a private Catholic university in Indiana. They interviewed me because I did have a bit of a religious school background, but I also had the background of working in the for-profit schools. And they wanted the best of both worlds. They wanted to know how to maintain and keep their traditional values while also adopting some of the better business practices that they saw in for-profit colleges, or what they saw as better business practices. So like I said before, higher education moves like steering a battleship. For-profit colleges, they move, we would always use the expression building the airplane or building the runway while the airplane is in the air. Because we would launch programs and we would get those programs off the ground, and we wouldn't have those programs fully developed, and we would be enrolling students. And a lot of times that's the way that we operated. We started things before we were completely ready to start them, to be agile and nimble. So I want you to look at the article. It's the Pucciarelli and Kaplan article, and it's from 2016. And I want you to look at that, but look at it with a lens of today. All right, look at that with a lens of COVID, competition and strategy and higher education. These are terms that were almost non-existent before the 80s. Higher education was not as much of a competitive and strategic field, but the way that things have developed and changed so quickly, it very much has become so. So go through that article, and I want you to focus on the key trends that were observed already by 2016, and I want you to project those forward to today and ask, how do these key trends, weaknesses, and opportunities manifest themselves? And these threats, how do they manifest themselves in the post-COVID? I don't believe we're post-COVID yet. I believe we're still in COVID, but in a post-COVID world. And then I want you to start thinking not like an academic, but like an entrepreneur. And on page 8 of the Pucciarelli article, they go into embracing a deeper entrepreneurial mindset. And that's what I want you to focus on, especially in this week's discussion forum, is to get out there and look at the different colleges and universities that have taken on the COVID challenge, not as something that they had to survive, but as creating an environment in which they could actually thrive and they could see a successful business model going forward. That's what we're looking for, and maybe you want to look up Brian Alexander. He's a futurist. He's had some great thoughts about the institutions that are going to thrive coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was kind of all over the place, and I kind of knew it was going to be. But hopefully that helps you set the tone for what we really want to discuss in this week's forum. Okay, so we've only got a discussion forum this week. We're not kicking off a project. I will do my best to get your assignments and discussion forums graded as quickly as possible. And it's, as I'm posting this morning, it is Monday, the 20th. So Tuesday, the 21st will actually be the beginning of module 3. See you in the forums.